Alright, Thanos, the Mad Titan. You may have the Infinity Gauntlet, but throughout the MCU, I am known as the Keyblade Lord. Actually, I look more like Lord Solo. Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of First Thoughts. So as you can probably tell by this getup I have here, I just saw Infinity Wars, the latest Avengers movie. And for those who are new here, I normally do non-spoiler reviews, but after watching this movie, it's going to be really difficult to do that without really giving anything away. So fair warning folks, it's going to be a complete spoiler talk, mostly a speculation because this is an event film. A lot of this is the accumulation of all the MCU's films within the last 10 years. So I'm going to preface this is a spoiler review. If you have not seen Infinity Wars, save this video for later, and then come on back here to hear my initial thoughts as well as possible thoughts on what might be coming up with the MCU down the line. Again, spoiler review. I cannot emphasize that more. This is a spoiler review and speculation video. We're all good, we're all covered, we all know what's gonna happen here? Alright, let's get straight to it. Spoilers ahead. Seriously, I look like Han Solo, the Mexican version, with a beard. So in my reviews, I usually give 3 positives and 3 negatives, give my overall thoughts on the film in my reviews. However, this time around, I feel like I'm gonna treat this a little bit more differently because, as I've said earlier, this is an event film. So I'll start out with my basic pros. They're not really spoilers in here, but again, I already warned you this is a spoiler review, so I'm just gonna emphasize that enough. If I say something that's a spoiler, that's because I already told you this is a spoiler review, so expect that. But I am gonna try to be a little vague here, just a little bit. I realize that's redundant. First off, the action scenes are fantastic. I had a lot of fun watching them. Maybe not the best or the most iconic or unique action scenes, but it was still pretty cool to see Black Widow, Black Panther, War Machine, Falcon, Thor, all the characters duke it out against cannon fodder and run-of-the-mill baddies. Now in general, I really like the CGI in this film. There were a couple of times the CGI didn't look quite well. Thanos on one hand, he looked spectacular. I was quite convinced that he was a real big dude. I mean, aside from maybe his hands kind of looked a little plain. But his facial animation and the motion capture rig that Josh Brolin did, I thought was really good. I felt his emotions in some parts. I understood that he was he wasn't just a straight up Saturday morning cartoon villain. He had a conviction and he was set at doing it no matter what kind of sacrifices came about. And believe me, there were quite a lot of sacrifices he had to do in order to achieve his goal. So comic book nerds out there, chime in if you will, because I haven't read the comics. I don't know too much about Thanos except he's evil. But if I remember correctly in the cartoons and the video games and all that, Thanos was obsessed with death. He wanted to court death. He just wanted to go on a killing spree to satisfy the goddess of death, or something like that. But in this film, he actually saw the universe struggling in his own personal experience on his home planet of Titan. So he saw that this struggle doesn't just pertain to his planet, but all the other planets in the universe. So he wants to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet to do kind of a toll, if you will, something to better serve all life in the universe. And that, his conclusion is to wipe out half the population of each species. That was his solution. Not enough supplies? Cut the population in half. Oh, suddenly we have enough supplies to meet the demand. Not a bad resolve. The only problem is that it's genocide and a lot of innocent people are gonna die. So with a lot of deaths come a lot of deaths. Even some main characters you were attached to, and that ending, oh boy, that ending. Again, this is a spoiler review, so expect me to talk about specific deaths of certain characters. Does this squeak a lot? I'm sorry, this is a really nice Star-Lord quote. It's a coat. In case you wonder, I said coat in a weird way. So one of the key deaths that kind of involved in getting the Infinity Stone was the Soul Stone, which we got a nice, awesome cameo of the Red Skull. Played by Hugo Weaving? I do not think so. It kind of sounds different. I remember in the past, Hugo Weaving, when he did Captain America, the First Avenger, he said that doing the whole makeup and the whole filming process was such a hassle for him that he wasn't quite interested in returning as a Red Skull. But according to his contract, he said, hey, if Marvel wants me to come back to play him, I'll play him. Marvel has expressed, or Kevin Feige in this case, that they don't want to force him to come back if he doesn't want to, so they'll work around with it. So with that said, I kind of feel like that this was a different actor portraying the Red Skull or something. Even though I don't think it was, fact check on me, Editor J, but the Red Skull kind of sounded like Liam O'Brien, one of the Japanese to English dub guys you would see in Viz Media, like Gara or something. I don't think it was him, but in some parts it kind of sounded like him. I don't know who it was. Editor J, who was the one that played Red Skull in the Infinity War movie? That's your answer. Whatever it is. So Gamora's death was the first one, which I kind of saw that coming. In order for Thanos to get the Soul Stone, you have to give up something that he truly loves. And throughout the film, Gamora kept thinking that she was a pawn in everything, and Thanos was just a crazy killer, the Mad Titan as the universe has come to call him. But as he was contemplating the sacrifice he had to make, you can see in his eyes, even with a little bit of tears, that he knew he had to give up Gamora in order to obtain the Soul Stone. He was that convicted at achieving his goals, and so, with that being said, Gamora's dead. Got the Soul Stone, which originally I thought the Soul Stone was in Wakanda because of the whole flower and the ability to see your ancestors' souls, and I thought that was where it was, just broken up into flowers or something, but yeah, I guess not. The flowers are something else. What exactly? I don't know. One of the earlier deaths in the movie is Loki, who tried to trick Thanos after giving the Tesseract, but obviously that did not really pan out that well. We kind of saw that coming, I guess. And man, did I feel really bad that Thanos destroyed the Asgardian ship, and pretty much Thor is the only one left of Asgard, so bummer for him. Now before I get into more deaths, I want to say another positive that I really enjoyed is some of the interaction. You see, I've been avoiding the final trailer for Infinity Wars as much as possible. I saw the first one, the one with the dramatic music and the overtones of the characters talking over each other to make a statement. I thought it was a really cool trailer, but I had a feeling that the final trailer is going to show a bit of the interaction between Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, the Guardians, Thor, all those characters, and I was like, no, thank you. I want to go in as fresh as possible, see this movie, and not expect certain interactions. That being said, I think I've kind of realized something. There were a lot of emotional scenes in this movie, as you could probably tell. Why do I keep acting like I'm reviewing something that you already seen? It's a spoiler review, unless you haven't seen the movie and you don't care about spoilers, and I suppose that justifies that. I like to follow movie news all the time. I look into what films have been announced by Kevin Feige or other directors that have been signed on to do certain projects. So I kind of know what's down the road a little bit. I don't know the exact stories or the exact characters involved, but I kind of have a game plan idea of what's going to happen. And because I knew some of this information, ironically enough, not watching the final trailer to this movie, a lot of the emotional scenes didn't really hit me like the way some of my cohorts or friends did. There was just something about the way things were done. I knew in my head that this cannot possibly be the end to these characters. It's been announced that we have a Captain Marvel movie coming out. We had Ant-Man and the Wasp, which in the film they said, oh, they didn't want to get involved because of their families. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say. Kind of a lame excuse to not get involved in a universe-ending situation. Family first. Right, this is Coco now. I'm anticipating that Ant-Man and the Wasp is actually a prequel movie to Infinity Wars, because at the very end of Infinity Wars, you've seen it, Thanos collected all the gems, snaps his fingers, and all of a sudden, half the population in the universe is gone. Are they dead? Technically, yes. Did they die painfully? Who knows? But among them was Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and I was thinking to myself, if we're gonna make more movies after this and say Infinity War, okay, I thought characters are gone. Let's move on, shall we? And Sony is like, we want to move forward and making more Spider-Man films with this Spider-Man. Oh, he was whisked away? That wasn't part of the deal.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
I'm just kidding. So pretty much my thoughts on this is that I feel like this movie is secretly a one-parter. Well, I mean, obviously it is. Kevin Feige said he did not want to announce the title or even give a base synopsis of Avengers 4 until sometime after this movie was released. Not even at Comic-Con or anything like that, D20 whatevers. He wanted to keep that under wraps because he felt like if he did do that, it might give away what happened in this movie, hence the half-death thing. So something tells me that this next phase 4 if you will, I have a feeling the films that they announced, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man and the Wasp, obviously Captain Marvel, because if you haven't heard, that takes place in the 90s, and so you're probably wondering, well, if Captain Marvel existed in the 90s, where the hell was she in all this? And in the end credits scene of this movie, you saw Nick Fury take out his little beeper thing, and he's like, oh shit, people are disappearing. Oh shit, I'm disappearing too, mother! And then the beeper went out and signaled out to Captain Marvel, which at first I thought was the Nova Corps symbol, just fatter, but then I had the stripes on, I was like, oh yeah, that's Captain Marvel. And so now that Tom Holland's Spider-Man has been evaporated, this does make me wonder if Sony is going to continue with their Spider-Man movies set before the events of Infinity War, or perhaps the Infinity Gauntlet did a weird thing to the whole universe that actually split the MCU and the Spider-Man universe from each other. So Tom Holland will continue, but will be kind of in an alternate reality of which Sony has full control over it. And maybe Tom Holland, he just doesn't remember. I gotta say Peter Parker. He's Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker. Peter is probably not gonna have some kind of connection to Iron Man. Maybe it's just like a weird variant of Spider-Man in his own little universe. We got the Venom trailer, which doesn't really look like it has much to do with the MCU. So maybe that was their idea of kind of like splitting off into becoming their own universe. Sony could do whatever the hell they want with their Spider-Man. It's all good. I highly doubt that's the case because, again, Avengers Infinity War is technically supposed to be part 2 of the Infinity Wars. It's probably not going to be called Infinity Wars. I don't know what it's going to be called because the movie clearly ended in a way where things are not going to be all rainbows and sunshine. Something else is going to come out of this. There is now a whole new circumstance of imbalance in the universe that Thanos manufactured, and this might open up to new things. I'm only speculating here, of course. I have no idea. The comic book universe is huge. There's a lot of source material to draw upon. And don't worry, I know, the Fox and the Disney merger deal is not 100% through. Not from when I'm releasing this video and when the movie came out. That is still under federal approval. So as of right now, Disney cannot act with any of the Fox, X-Men, Fantastic Four, or whatever Marvel characters Fox originally had the rights to merge into the MCU just yet. Legally, they're not allowed to, so I'm sorry. No Wolverine, no Fantastic Four, no Galactus yet. Yet. That is the key word, yet. Marvel does have the rights to the Skrulls, at least a certain aspect of the Skrulls. And for those who don't know, they're kind of a race of shapeshifters or something, and they're very green and mean. Kind of look like Thanos with like the rigid chins and pointy ears, but they might play a key role in what's going to happen with the new MCU. But like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 has been announced. James Gunn is working on it, but with more than half of the Guardians of the Galaxy gone. Actually, wait. Star-Lord's gone. Groot's gone. Drax is gone. I think Mantis is gone. Gamora's dead. I think Rocket disappeared too. Pretty much the Guardians are gone. Maybe we'll get the Stallone and the weird Miley Cyrus head thing. Maybe they'll be the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That would kind of suck if you ask me, because I kind of like the original guys. Oh yeah, everyone's favorite, the King of Wakanda, Black Panther. He evaporated as well, and people wanted a Black Panther 2. I don't know if they announced that they were going to do that, but they got rid of that one. So, like I said, folks, I honestly believe because of the half-death that MCU's Phase 4 films, they're all going to take place before Infinity Wars, because it'd be really strange to have those films take place after Infinity War, and people are just like, oh yeah, by the way, half the human population's dead. Well, let's carry on and do our little wasp pew 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 things and stuff. I don't know, it just seems kind of a jarring thing to kind of put aside and just do your own little contained story. It seems a little too influential to really div it off to a new plot. Well, that's just my impression of it. I honestly don't know. This is all just speculation. But let's talk about Infinity War some more. So I was telling Jared earlier that I didn't quite have much nitpicks on the film itself. Maybe the only thing I didn't quite dig was the cut of the events. You had Thor making his hammer, you had Wakanda and everyone on Earth trying to figure out what to do with Vision. Then you had Gamora taking care of Thanos, and then you had Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, and Peter Parker kind of like trying to take Thanos head on. There wasn't really an encompassing plan. Everyone just assumed what to do and went off to do all that. And I suppose that's where I'm a little disappointed, where I kind of wanted at least most of the MCU heroes to come together, kind of do like a round table circle and discuss the overall plan to figure out, okay, what are we going to do about this giant purple dude and get the gauntlet away from him. There was none of that. There were just like multiple factions and they all went to do their thing, and lo and behold, no organization caused them all to half disappear. So what's next for the MCU? I honestly don't really know. We'll see what happens with Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I look forward to reviewing. I'm gonna have fun with that one because I like Ant-Man. And it would have been cool to have him like pop in and like do like a even bigger giant man or something, just kind of like wow and shock the audience, but we didn't get any of that. We do have Captain Marvel coming in several months after that, or within several months. I'm not really too sure when, but I have a feeling that that movie is actually going to answer some of the questions that we might be having after this film, because it does take place during the 90s. Nick Fury clearly knew something was happening and had the need to call her, and never before has he ever called her before, at least leading up to the events of now. So maybe she has something or went somewhere that could turn the tides for all the Avengers that have disappeared. Who knows what lies ahead in the MCU, to be honest. I could spend a lot of time speculating, talking to you guys, but I'm not really going to get much else if I don't hear other cohorts tell me what they think, because this is a big deal. This is a big event. For 10 years, we've had the MCU build up to this moment, and Thanos, the bad guy, he won. But did he really? There was really no hint of that, I suppose. I mean, he did have like a weird vision moment where he saw little Gamora say, I hope you achieved everything you wanted, and you realize what you lost to achieve that, but I hope you're happy. And we saw him at the very end. He sits out, he sees a beautiful field of green and bluish purple skies. A little smile on his face. He's like, yeah, I did it. He didn't say that verbally, of course, he just had that look on his face. And then roll credits, and the entire audience in the theater went, what? So clearly this movie ended on a bummer note, but perhaps Mr. Feige himself has a spectacular plan to wow audiences and show just how tight-knit the MCU really is in its whole thing. We shall see. Maybe it's a half reboot, maybe it's a half epic saga, next generation to come of Avengers. We'll simply have to see. But I'm really curious to know, what were your thoughts on the film? Hopefully you saw it, hence the spoiler review. So please let me know, where do you think the MCU is gonna go from here on out? Let me know in the comment sections below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Oh, one last thing. I will say, I am very disappointed. Yeah, I'm really upset. You know why? We did not get a cameo of an epic proportion. No, we didn't. We did not get a cameo of Luke Skywalker. We didn't get a Guardians of the Galaxy cameo in The Last Jedi, or The Force Awakens, Rogue One, and I doubt we're gonna get one in Solo, but they could have at least put Luke Skywalker himself come in and help the Avengers. Because the Infinity Gauntlet messes with reality. Why can't we have Luke come in and go, I was really disappointed by that. No. This movie gets no love from me. I want Luke in this movie, in the MCU, and kick some serious ass. By the way, folks, I'm just joking. That would be stupid. Like Star Wars. Oh, I'm just kidding. That'd be weird. Anyway, guys, I was really looking forward to this movie, and I had a lot of fun. Again, it's kind of a bummer movie. Kind of expected certain things were going to happen. So I give this movie a solid thumbs up. Wasn't the greatest movie I've seen, because I kind of saw almost everything coming. I didn't get emotionally attached. I wish I did. But with comic books, it's really kind of hard to get invested in characters you know have a good chance of coming back. Right now, I'm just more curious to see where they're going to take this, whether they're going to try to retrieve the half-death, or they're going to do a soft reboot of some of these characters. It's an event worthy of checking out. Whether if you love it or not, it's still really neat to see how all these talented people come together to make such a solid cinematic universe. I'm ready to see what you guys do next. I'm looking forward to it. But again, no real shockers for me because I follow movie news. I know titled projects coming, and I know the comic book universe tends to be a little Dragon Ball Z, wishing people back in a sort of kind of way. Thusly, kind of hard for me to get invested in some of these characters because I know there's a good chance they could come back. Except Agent Coulson. Sorry, bro, you were pawn to motivate the team. I'm just kidding. I don't think he was a pawn, but it helped. They died. That's really a bummer too. Alright guys, tune in next time when I review something else. Again, I'm sorry this wasn't really much of a review, more of just me speculating and talking and giving my thoughts out. But like I said, I would love to hear what you thought of the film in the comment section below. And don't feel too bad because like I said, this is a spoiler review. If you're still watching this and you're like, oh, maybe people won't spoil anything down there. It's like, you got this far. It was a spoiler review. You only have yourself to blame. Alright guys, I'm going to let you know. Check out my other reviews I've done in the past. Most of them non-spoiler reviews, so you should be good. Check them out here. Or you can check out a random video that we've done right here. Oh yeah, and be sure to subscribe. Don't forget that. To be continued, folks. I'm off to be the Slayer of Thanos. I shut up!